Conservation Commission meeting, February 25th, 2026. President, Peter. Present.
Jack, Selectmen's rep. Last time.
Courtney Carter, Conservation Commission, whatever I'm at.
Just your name.
Just your name. Evelyn Miller, Patty Gale, Planning and Zoning Assistant.
Gene Walker.
Andrew Chaplin.
Jane Raymond. Susan Decker.
Okay, the first and only thing we have on the agenda is map 2, lot 59, use permit requested by the PSNH, dubbed Eversource Energy for impact within the Eversource easement area that is located within the wetland surface water conservation district buffer for the B143 electrical transmission line. Eversource Energy is proposing to replace utility overhead structures and associated improvements within the buffer and are required to obtain a conditional use permit per section 13.3.7, 13.3.7.1 of Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located on 23 Roberts Road, zone agricultural. A use permit has to be sent forwarded to the planning board. Recommendations, and we have someone here to present it.
Thank you very much. Sherry Treffray with VHB here, and Jerry Fennell with Eversource, licensing and permitting specialist. So we prepared the application on behalf of Eversource that we're presenting on tonight. This is part of Eversource's structure replacement program on ongoing maintenance on the transmission line. This is a 115 kilovolt transmission line within the right-of-way. There's also another 115 kV line called the K105 line. Work has previously been done on the K105 line, and there's an existing access road out in that right-of-way. Addison, this is my colleague Trent. He's gonna put it up there. Coming off of Addison Road, there's an existing access road. So you can see right there. The K105 line runs along the northern part of the right-of-way, and the B143 line runs south of that. So the previous work had been done on the K105 line, so there's an existing gravel road there. There's a gate to access that road. So we'll be using the same footprint of that road and what exists there as was the previous work that was done up until they stopped building the road, so we'll reuse that area. There are the wetlands will be timber matted, so you can see that as indicated on the yellow. Shows the timber matting that will be placed in the wetlands for access through the wetland areas, so those will be temporary impacts to wetlands. The existing structures, there's 14 of them in an H-frame configuration that are wooden. They'll be replaced with weathered steel in roughly the same configuration. All of the structures will be replaced within 10 feet of the existing structure, either ahead or back online. So you can see that the existing structures are in black, and the red indicates where the new structures will be located. All of these structures are located, as you noted in our introduction, on tax map 2, lot 59, within an existing right-of-way. No additional clearing will be needed for the work that's going to be done. The construction work pads will be 100 feet by 100 feet, as indicated with those grayed out boxes with the black around them. We made efforts, and you can see, at structure 27, to cut and reconfigure that work pad where we could to avoid impacts to wetlands. So Eversource worked with the construction reps to try to minimize impact where we could, and then obviously using the BMPs of the timber matting. Erosion controls will be installed at the entrances and exits of those and around the work pads. If you want to show Trent on 27 again, it's hard to see here.
Lines at the edges of the, and you can kind of see them like where the timber matting begins. We have a recumbent V configuration with a erosion controls go along where road fill might be put in place to avoid stormwater discharges to any wetlands.
There is a stream that's delineated out there. We will span the stream with those timber mats from bank to banks, not to impact the stream itself. Once the roads are built and the work pads are built, the line crews will come in and start to drill the holes for the poles, install the weathered steel poles. They'll assemble the poles and then transfer the old wires to the new structures, and then they'll remove the old poles and remove those from the right-of-way along with the rest of the equipment that's on those poles. And then after that, the work pads that are 100 by 100 or less, depending on where they are in the upland areas, will be reduced in size to 30 by 60. That portion of the work pad will be maintained for future access for any maintenance needs that are on that structure. The pad itself will be covered for the portion that's going to be restored, will be covered with topsoil, seeded and mulched, and monitored for restoration. The timber mats will be removed. That area will be mulched as well. This project falls under federal, state, and local jurisdiction. So we have filed an alteration of terrain permit for the land disturbance, including the upland areas for access and work pads. And we filed a wetlands permit by notification for utility work with the Wetlands Bureau for the just over 22,000 square feet of direct wetland impact associated with that access and the timber matting. It will also be subject to the federal construction general permit and will need a sign off from the Army Corps. The construction general permit will require weekly environmental monitoring to be conducted by an environmental monitor and create weekly reports. So Eversource will employ environmental monitor to go out on a weekly basis and following significant rain events to check to make sure that the erosion controls are in good shape and that the contractors are staying within the limits of the permit. We have consulted with New Hampshire Fish and Game as well as the Natural Heritage Bureau in accordance with the state regulations for protection of rare species. New Hampshire Fish and Game has asked us to abide by a time of year restriction. We are unable to do that given the fact that of the outage, this work is going to be conducted in the summertime. So we negotiated with them to have a qualified wildlife biologist present during the time that the work will be being conducted for all the work that's going to be conducted in Goffstown. So there'll be a qualified wildlife biologist present to make sure that the areas are cleared of any protected species before mats are placed and erosion controls are set up and drilling is being done and machinery is moved around. None of the sediment and erosion controls will contain any plastic that could entrap any snakes that could be in the area. It's sort of an industry standard now that New Hampshire Fish and Game requires. I'll stop there. We could talk more about the wetlands features and different things. There are a couple of potential vernal pools out there, but I'll kind of take a break and see how much more you want to hear about it.
Did you say there were
It sounds
vernal
like
pools?
you're going to be monitored quite closely.
Yes.
Yes, Yeah.
Very closely, yeah.
yeah.
That's, you have, anybody have any other?
I just have a question. When you talked about the poles, they're weathered steel, what did you call that?
Yeah, so they have this sort of rust patina, so they have, they allow rust to form on the steel, and that protects it from rusting naturally. Maybe you can have, I don't know if you have a better explanation, but that's how I understand it.
Yeah,
is
that's basically it. They're just more aesthetically pleasing than silver-ish pole, because they look like wood.
It's the
Yeah.
ones you see.
It's the one you see,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they don't have to be,
Heard that term.
previously, they used to paint them,
Right.
to protect them, and these don't have to be painted. So there's less maintenance also associated with these.
Did you say there were vernal pools?
There are some potential vernal pools areas out there that we identified. It was outside the vernal pool season.
Okay.
So, again, that was information that was shared with New Hampshire Fish and Game.
Okay.
So I'm curious, if you have a weekly review and report, so I'm assuming that's going to you, but if we had some concerns or if the town wanted to know anything, can we access those weekly reports?
So you would like to see our environmental reports?
Well, just say we were up there and concerned about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So would we just talk with you or do,
If there
Yeah.
was a
report to
question,
the
could we
town,
contact
or-
you?
Yeah, so Patty or whomever
I have
else
his
they
email.
have. Yeah, they have my contact information, so yeah.
So we would contact Patty and she could get in
I could
contact
ask
with you?
for it? Okay, so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be
So
available.
the reports that we generate, we send to Eversource as well as the contractor. If we identify anything that they need to address, then they get notified and they have, by rule, they have certain timeframes that they have to address those issues that we identify.
so when are you gonna start your project? There's like 4 feet of snow up there now.
It's gonna be in the summertime. I don't know
Summertime, this
exactly.
is a summertime
Yeah.
project, and how long do you expect that to take? About?
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna start in July and we should be done by the fall.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna ask something that Collis Adams always asks.
Yeah.
Are you putting fabric under the timber matting? He always
I mean-
wants,
They always ask that.
yeah.
Isn't there only one answer to that question? If that's what you would like us to do, and that's been the preference in the past, yeah. I think
That's
that's,
up to the commission, but that's something he
That's what
always
he always
asks for.
yeah, and I've said this in the past too, and Collis has disagreed with me professionally, which is fine. I understand the concept of, when you put the geotextile fabric under the mats, it kind of limits how far they go down. The only problem is when we go up to remove it, it becomes kind of a housekeeping issue because the textile fabric is often wet, so it just, and it creates waste. So it's not that we have issues doing it, we just find that it's kind of like if you think about a paper towel and then trying to pick up a wet paper towel, but, we've done it before, it's just.
I'll leave that up to them,
Yeah.
but I had to ask that question.
What's the argument against it, other than that it's messy to clean up?
I don't know that it provides any real additional BMP value.
Okay.
I mean, the mats are there designed to displace the weight, so it doesn't create rutting. They're pretty close together. It's not like it's doing, I don't know. I don't think that there's any additional value to it. And then when they do the drilling, if they're on mats, they're putting those into containers. So it's not like they're putting it directly on the mats when they're doing the drilling, so.
And what is the fabric made of? I'm sorry, you're talking about how
It's
is it afterwards?
it would usually be geotextile.
Is that
Plastic.
So just standard like landscape matting.
Landscaping mats.
Yeah, like black.
Okay, do you have any
So
other questions?
More biodegradable?
No.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I was gonna ask you, do you want a motion?
Yes, we have to have a motion to move it on to the planning board. A recommendation, yeah.
I would move that we recommend this to go to the planning board.
So you recommend the granting of the conditional use permit and relief of the buffer?
Second,
We have a second?
second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We actually want you to know that Goffstown really supports the Eversource and what you're doing. I mean, it's wonderful, particularly when we have a storm coming through. I know that we're in good hands. Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
your report.
That's providing Hydro-Quebec continues to send power.
Yes, yeah.
I think she had all the answers when she presented.
Well, I just
Yeah,
came
well,
from
best management
Chatham and
practices,
Cape
they
Cod, and
stated,
the power's
yeah.
not gonna come on until
I won't
Friday.
say anything if it's matters.
She had everything.
Yeah, that's why I left.
I won't say anything, I didn't say it was graphic.
Is there right
Yeah.
now and resources coming in to help, so.
Well, good, it's just
Yeah.
that there's pieces of
Come on,
trees
Jane.
that flew
Okay,
everywhere.
we have,
Yeah, it's gonna be a big cleanup, probably the hardest storm
Oh,
that
it's a
hit
mess.
in last decade, so.
It's a mess, yeah.
Give that to her if she wants to look at.
give that, yeah. Okay, we have the corrections and acceptance of the minutes
Oh, you're welcome.
on January 28, 2026. Does anybody see any corrections on the minutes? Anybody want to
I
make a
did
motion
not.
on accepting them?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
We have a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
And Courtney's the voting
And she-
alternate.
Yeah, Susan has to abstain.
I wasn't here, yeah.
One abstain.
All those in favor?
You weren't here too. Or if you weren't,
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
The two of us.
I
Were you here
Opposing.
last meeting?
was here for this.
And then abstaining?
I forget.
I think I wasn't here.
You were
I know, it's
here.
on
I was here.
It all blends together,
Oh,
but like,
dear.
well, you can still vote and abstain. Nope, just the three of you were here, but that's okay, you can still do the
But I'm
vote. You
saying-
just have
They abstain.
three in
Abstain,
favor
yes,
Yeah,
with,
three abstain, three vote.
Two
with, full-
abstentions.
with,
Sue abstains too, right?
yeah, I was.
Okay,
and Jane, were you here? Nope, she was here, so no, you got,
Jane was here.
you have
I
three in
voted yes.
favor with three abstain.
yep.
Yes,
And Jane said that she didn't get to the river committee, so we'll pass on that. And David's not here for,
Well, Peter goes to the
oh,
committee.
Peter, he
Did you
can
go to the
report.
Rivers Committee meeting?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
Peter.
didn't get the announcement until the day before. I had no idea we had.
Oh, no, well, I don't know why you didn't get it, but I can give you an update on what's going on.
That would
Yeah.
be great.
Vote in.
So I'm gonna go through the whole thing real quick for you. On December 25th, December 2025, DES was awarded $4.5 million from the state of New Hampshire ARM grant. And I'm sure you all know what the ARM grant is. That's paid for by developers when they impact wetlands. So in the spring of 2026, DES will start environmental studies and permitting for removal. So they're going to test the soils in the river and come up with an answer. In the fall of '26, DES in collaboration with the Goffstown River Advisory Committee will hold a public meeting to report on the environmental studies and explain the dam removal and the river restoration process and design. The spring of '27, the Hadley Falls Dam removal process begins. So we have one more year of the river, more or less, and then in '27, and then from '27 to '32, DES will monitor river restoration compliance with the ARM grant requirements. So that's pretty much
Which
what
dam
it
is
was.
this?
Now, I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to watch the meeting between the select board and
I think it's from that
DES.
mill.
That is posted on the town's website, and you get all the way down the bottom of the page, and it's it's a lot of good information in there, so.
This is the one by the mill, the dam.
Hadley Falls,
Hadley
yeah.
Falls, right
Yeah.
here.
Okay,
That's it, so.
that's it.
Dam will start being torn down in '27, spring of '27. So the rest of this year is more testing and developing a plan. At the end of the year, there'll be a meeting to let everybody know, and then they'll be start tearing the dam down in '27.
Do they make a projection as to if it's changing any of the property along the lake? I mean, by
Has nothing to do with Glen Lake,
Nothing, okay.
because the river flow is the same, whether there's a dam
Right.
holding back water or not.
Okay.
The flow of the river is still going to be the same.
Right.
So it doesn't affect Glen Lake at all.
Was this side of the dam?
The dam just holds back water
Water.
until the river flow comes in, and then it goes over the
Right.
dam, so.
Right.
And the river's
There may
gonna
be a little
just-
bit of a risk when they originally tear it down and start releasing the water.
But then
To
after
release
that'll
the
be-
water, it's gonna go underneath the old mill.
Right.
That's what we're gonna do, to release the water from behind the dam before they start working.
And the water in the lake is so low that to have a little influx is not gonna end up in people's yards.
No, there's not gonna, yeah,
No, it's not gonna.
no, that's not gonna impact anybody's properties.
I think-
Except the people on the way, on the other side of the dam.
Right.
You know, if they, where they border onto the river's gonna be small down.
Yeah.
Probably almost as far as maybe as far as the Blueberry. Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
I think the thing that will be interesting is when they start sampling those soils that are behind the dam.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of possible stuff that could be there.
Well, they mentioned the dam, when the bridge burnt down, they never hauled the material out, they left it right in the river.
And there's the old dump, not, right? That was
And the old
not
dump was
far out.
upstream.
Went right
yeah,
into the-
upstream,
So your
sure.
It just
God
sunk
knows what
into
seeped
the,
in over the years.
And there was a dry cleaners there.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, the
It's right there.
the little structure, the little house.
was a dry
That
cleaner.
dry cleaner was on the other side of the dam.
Yeah. But the
It
water,
was on the other side of the dam, so it wouldn't have any effect on,
Downstream.
yeah,
it would have an effect on the downstream side, but
Right.
not upstream.
Just the bridge.
And the other thing, I
and
think,
don't forget, one of the other biggest things, and it was cited years and years ago, poultry processing.
Up above.
Ah, yeah.
That was
was
an
bad.
issue at one time, so.
What's this gonna smell like?
Huh?
well, rivers were used a very different way back in the
Of course.
50s
Right.
and before. I think
Okay.
the other thing that came out of our Rivers Advisory Committee meeting when, I think his name was Corey,
Corey Clark,
okay, when he came, he said, one of the things about this dam is that it's not well attached to the ground. It was put in a time when,
They just had to,
I'm not, I think that was one of the big questions, is what is keeping it there?
well, that's one of the things I worried about in a 100-year storm, what would happen to that dam, so.
And if it rolled over,
Yeah, so, you know, this, I understand, and then, if anybody says, why can't they generate electricity there anymore? It's just not enough flow,
not enough water.
and it's, when they originally did the presentation, in order to restore the dam and put a power plant in there, the payback would have been 150 years.
Wow.
Just to get your money back.
Just to
Not,
get-
not before you start making it.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
and then,
Okay.
of course, there was also talk about maybe the town taking it over, they were gonna sell it to us for $1, but then you have to rebuild the dam, which is somewhere around $7-8 million, and then
Or you have to take it out by yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have to, take care of the maintenance of the dam on a regular basis, which is FERC inspections, and
Yeah.
it just, it's not, I don't, as a selectman at the time, and knowing the economic issues in our town and what we need, that was not one of my priorities anyway. I'm sure other people feel differently, but,
Well, I think if you
I'll show you.
If you look at it not as, oh my gosh, we're losing our dam, but maybe more how wonderful it's going to be to have the river's edge more accessible for people to be able to walk up and down there. And I think
Just
that's
that
the
one.
long-term plan, is to have more public access to the river.
and they'll get Rail Trail and Parks and Rec involved in it as they go along, so.
Nobody likes change.
How old is that? When was that dam first put in?
I think it was 38,
That big flood,
think
before
it
the
was-
big flood?
Was it put in for the,
huh?
was it put in with the logs from the hurricane?
I think so.
I don't remember, I don't know,
That
they
was
gave
a
us the
huge-
whole history of it. In fact, there's
feel
still
young.
remnants of the wooden dam in there.
Okay, because that's, yeah.
So if you get a chance to go online and watch that presentation, he actually goes through all that. It shows actual photos and everything are all in there. It's really interesting, I suggest anybody that asks questions, that's the best way to get the answer.
Where to go to?
And River Committee is,
all right in
the River Committee is putting in an FAQ so anybody can, frequently ask questions, and hopefully we've had a bunch of them, so it'll be listed in there. So,
Okay, we had a request for Jamie O'Brien to serve on the Conservation Commission, but we don't have an
We
opening.
don't have an opening right now.
So we don't have an opening, so
Wow.
And then,
I suggested actually she look maybe at the planning board. I thought we did, but we don't. Danielle King has taken the last opening. Even though Jacqueline hasn't been here, she hasn't resigned. So unless I get a formal resignation until her term expires, I've reached to her. I don't get any response.
okay. And open space, or
Oh,
you have something?
I have something for open space. I'm taking away David's glory, though. They're closing on the show easement next week.
Good, finally.
I know this because Derek asked me, and he told me they were getting ready to release the funds, and because they were closing next week.
Wow.
Finally.
So will they be at the
You know,
house?
the next meeting, we could have David announce that again.
And we can pretend we never heard.
Pretend I
And
didn't
then we
tell
can
you.
Yes.
correct the minutes and say, Patty never said that.
I figured Derek wanted me to tell you, so that's why I'm telling you.
Okay, Jane wants to bring this one up.
I have a question about this. It was just a copy that was given to us, but disqualified forestry statutory permit by notification. It's tax map 5 lot 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I did receive an email from the owner, or someone that works for the owner, stating it related to a permit that was already closed. And it was for work they had done to there for a culvert during the floods, that they already had closed it. To me, it didn't kind of go with what that said because the dating saying that we received, so I don't know what they received. To me, it's like a forestry permit by notification, like they're cutting trees. I would
Right,
assume.
but this says it didn't meet that.
But the trees have been cut during the
So
summer.
usually if it doesn't meet a permit by notification, they have to do something else.
And we should have seen the wetland, the application. That's what it sounds like.
Well, they're telling them how they first applied is incorrect, and they have to now apply a different way.
Okay. So,
But what he
but
emailed
we
is
should
saying
see
they
that.
already did the permit. It was like an old permit that they already did the work and it closed.
work's
I
done, I
can
think.
check on it and let you know at the next meeting. I didn't get anything from the state, this is from the owner email, must have seen this on the agenda, and stated that the work for the wetlands was already done, it's already finished, closed.
But they
And
never
they-
had a permit.
They had an old one that was done,
Okay.
so I don't know if they referred to it and whatever they were doing for forestry. I'll have to get clarification from the
I
state.
think I saw it being done.
Is that where they were gonna, he was gonna put the property for Devrient to have?
Well, he asked Deborah, and I think using it, and I think they have cut trees. I believe they do have to cut some trees there, so I don't
That was
know.
down on the river and he wanted to grade it out, had Devrient was using it for plantings down in there.
Right, and I think they did that this summer. They cut the trees. I think
Because
that-
there's some type of exemption for when you're cutting, for farming. But
The special, right, but it said, according to that, it didn't meet those qualifications.
yeah, so by this, and what threw me off of when he was referring to an old permit, it's saying, we received, permit by notification on February 13th, 2026. So I'm like, if it's an old permit, what they applied for? So it didn't make sense, the email he sent me.
No.
So I didn't print off the email because I didn't think it made,
I
well,
guess I
cutting
would
trees.
request that we have some clarification.
Yeah, I can
Thank
get
you.
clarification.
Thank you.
I'll write to the state.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, want to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
Susan? Second?
Sure.
Jan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposing?
We love it when meetings are